Hi, I'm Life Coach Landry, and the topic is the 5 most unattractive traits in men and women. I'm going to tell you 5 things that no matter what sex you date or what you're doing, that women find unattractive and that men find unattractive. Okay, and these are universal, and when they've been studied, these are always the top 5 that pop up for people to know. So pay attention. Number 1 is disorganization. Nobody likes people who are sloppy and disorganized, not just physically in their home and in their car, but if you're mentally unorganized. You're running from one place to do, you don't pay your bills on time, you have a ton of clutter. It's just one of those things where you're unsanitary. It makes it look like, man, if I was to ever have a kid with you, which is, the goal of a lot of people who are looking to date is to find a partner and eventually start a family. That's a zero attraction from the get-go. You're just killing it right out of the gate. Okay. Number 2 would be arrogance. Okay. In the beginning, an arrogant individual can look attractive, but then it can look like you're dismissive when you're too arrogant, because it looks like no matter what they say, it's not going to hold value because you're so arrogant about the way you do things that it's pointless for them to say much to you, so to speak. And if you've ever dated someone who's arrogant, you know how quickly that trait morphs into attractive to just ugly, right? And it's because individuals, for the most part, they focus themselves too much, so they just start to lack, like tons and tons of empathy just starts to fall off, right? Whereas in the beginning you had a sense of interest, and now you're just all arrogant and doesn't seem like you give a shit. People will start to back off. Okay. The next one is unreliability. Okay, this goes for a ton of different areas, and this is, remember, this is when you're dating or you're courting. This isn't when, like, you're talking to someone and, they got a busy life, or you go in the hospital and you expected them to be there just because you dated them 5 years ago or they're your best friend. This isn't about that. This is when you're actually pursuing somebody. Unreliability, self-disclosure alert here. A few things that turn people off, me in particular, are definitely people that are unreliable. The unreliable individual often is late, which is really annoying, meaning they obviously have no concept of your time. They only have concept of their time. Okay? I mean, plans change, and everybody has, you get caught in a little bit of traffic or something happens like that, but we're talking about people who are always 15, 20 minutes late, at least every other time. And then later they'll back out on you, or you'll have something set up and they'll only let you know an hour before that they're not going to attend or be there. Kind of thing. And these people they're unreliable, and it means they haven't grown up and really reached a level of maturity, or they've simply missed that step in the maturing process, and it just never kind of just came together for them. What they'll know is that people are, what they're going to start to acknowledge is that people will drop them without saying much to them, and because they're unreliable. They'll say, actions, like an adult committing and following through, and who cares about somebody and how they affect other people, is almost seen as like mental abuse after a while. It's just unattractive. Don't do it. Okay. The next one is being jealous is extremely unattractive. Okay. Now we're talking like jealousy. We're not talking like you're walking down the street and you see a woman look at your man, or a man look at your woman, and you're like, oh man, God, I can't take this girl anywhere. I can't take this guy anywhere. But man, she sure is good looking. Or man, he sure is handsome. At least he's mine. That kind of shit's okay. We're talking about destructive jealousy that you do bad things with. Okay. So if a person's jealous, and controlling, and these two things go together when it's bad jealousy. It's not just jealousy, it's controlling. You'll see they'll use controlling behaviors and to make sure you stay and don't go places. Being controlling is just dangerous. And the safest way to handle someone you meet who seems like they're jealous or early on is just to walk away. Okay, just walk away. It's not worth it. You can't rescue someone who's stuck in a complete primitive state. And jealousy and thing is really it's supposed to be a temporary thing. It's not supposed to be something they act out. So if they're doing that on an ongoing basis, it means they haven't matured and they're extremely unhealthy still mentally. It's okay to have jealousy. It's not okay to be jealous. Totally different. Okay? Totally different. The next one's going to be inability to, or disinterest, if you want to call it, in listening to when you talk about yourself or your life. Big turn off for people, because when you do that, what you're saying to them is, when you talk, you're important. When I talk, I'm not important. Or when we talk about you, you want me to really focus when I talk about me. And, and you take this in, a light mode when you're walking around. What it means is, if you're doing things while someone's talking, that's okay, as long as, they think you're a multitasker and they know you can pay attention. But it's people who are sitting there and they're just waiting for you to stop talking so they can say something about themselves. Okay. And some people converse like that. And remember, you're talking about every day, all the time. We're not talking about if one or two times they do it and you throw a fit. We're talking about patterns here and early on dating. And the reason this is important, because if it happens early on while dating, it's likely not to improve. Okay. So what's the bottom line here is, if you start dating someone who presents extremely unattractive traits, your smartest move is just to stop moving forward on him or her and just go ahead and back out. Save yourself some time, because it's not going to get better. Okay. And ask 2 or 3 people whose judgment you trust, and share your concerns and get feedback from people to make sure you're not the one, doing this. And don't be afraid to get bad criticism from your friends. They have your best interests at heart, so they're going to give you true information about the way people see you versus the way you see yourself. Okay. But above all, protect yourself from unnecessary drama. Once you're over the age of 30, there should be no dramatic fucking people in your life. And if they are, get them the fuck out and kick them and give them the boot and the stick with a little bag on the end, put them on the curb and say, if you ever shape up one day, give me a call. I have no idea where I'll be, if I'll want you back or even want to be your friend. But until then, adios. I don't have time for it. You're subtracting more than you're adding to my life at that point. Okay. It takes a lot of emotional energy to give somebody. So make sure that it's right. And you want to do it with someone who's better for you from the start, so that your energy is completely used in the right way. Okay. So I'm going to say these things one more time to you. Okay. Number 1, disorganization. Number 2, arrogance. Number 3, unreliability. Number 4, being jealous and controlling. Those things right there, if you see any of those signs, especially if it's 3 to, out of the 4, 4 out of the 5, whenever it's, if you're meeting somebody and the majority of them are applying, that's a bad sign. Okay. It's probably time for you to get out. Okay. So those are things that people have that they find unattractive. So if you're doing these things, it's time for you to take a look at yourself and say, this may be why I'm not finding the best mates possible, because I'm turning people away with some stupid, dramatic bullshit. Get rid of it. Be the best version of yourself. You'll attract the best mate. Okay. And if you found this information helpful to you and you want to get into some details on working on it, you can contact me at the email below. And if you found this information of value and you want to show your support, you can click on the donation link below. And I will talk to you soon.